guys, Luke from Brown Environmental. We're in another amazing location down here at Little Beach, which is in the b.e.e.p National Park on the southern end of the Central Coast, like on the southern peninsula. We've been engaged by national parks to undertake some upgrades to an existing turnaround bay, which includes retaining walls, upgrades of drainage, and also concrete hard stands, so for bins and new gas bottles, which you'll obviously see that at the completion of the project. It's a great area. It's culturally significant to me personally. This is Guringai Wanangini land, and b.e.e.p translates to heart, so bud, heartbeat. It's the heart of this end of the coast, and there's a lot of story on the creation and the dreaming down here. Lots of amazing trails, bushwalks, and some really cool cultural sites down here. So there's days when I've got to pinch myself when this is your office. So look forward to showing you guys how this project progresses. We've got it down for 2 weeks, start to finish, weather dependent. We're also locked into a pretty tight time frame with school holiday periods coming up, so parks really want us to get this knocked over as quickly and as efficiently as possible and with minimal impact to the public. We're here wrapping up the project. We've spent the last couple of weeks here. Pretty crazy end to the year trying to get this wrapped up before Christmas for the business. You can actually see the campsite is absolutely packed now, and that's what this place is like. More often than not, it's an extremely popular place for campers, bushwalkers. But yeah, we were engaged by national parks to upgrade the area where I'm standing now. It's not an actual car park. It's a service area mainly for national parks field officer crews and also the local waste contractor to empty out bins and also topping up gas and things like that. It was a fairly tight area for trucks. Turning was an absolute nightmare. So part of the project was to increase the area by about 3 or 4-fold, and with that came the issues of stabilising banks, which we addressed that with sandstone blocks. So there was a retaining wall that was all engineered, that was undertaken by national parks, and we worked to that. There were some slight modifications on that. The original wall was designed to run with the plane of the existing roadway there, which it just wasn't going to look aesthetically pleasing at the moment. And from a structural perspective, I'd much rather always construct a wall level versus working on a plane. So we were great. We worked with a really good team at National Parks. The project officer was great with communication, feedback, and also being able to interact and throw some ideas around. And we came to a pretty quick resolution on that. Constructed walls on the high side to maintain the existing vegetation and bank. And then there's a low slide, just a single course sandstone retaining block. We also did some drainage upgrades just up beyond the toilet there. So that was a new pipe and head wall that went in and some rock lining of drains. We also identified throughout the job that there were issues with existing table drains. We went about cleaning those out whilst we were here. We had machinery here, so it made sense to clean out the table drains and try and flush out the pipes as best as possible. We also imported a couple of 100 tonne of new material, being a blend of DGB20 and 40mm scalps. Yeah, watered in, rolled, and then we did, there was a roll compaction test done as well on that. We upgraded the bin area. We installed a new concrete slab, some screening, and that just provided a good hard stand for the bins to be placed on, and also the gas bottles relocated to that position, make it far easier from a serviceability perspective for waste contractors and also for gas. Project was marked for 2 weeks. I think we ran just a little bit over that. I think it ran to about 2.5 weeks. Look, all in all, the project ran quite smoothly. As I've mentioned earlier, it's an extremely popular place for tourists, campers, bushwalkers. It's one of those places. There are so many access points to this area. There's walking trails that come around from Murrawarring headland, which is McMaster's. They come around from the b.e.e.p end. Even though parks did install a lot of signage, it just didn't stop the flow of pedestrians. So if there was anything that slowed us down, the pedestrian flow through here. But as I said, it's a really popular surfing spot as well. So yeah, being a surfer myself, it's hard to stop guys from going in the water. We made an executive decision in consultation with parks that if we could manage that, they were happy for us to continue the works. Okay guys, well, that's a wrap on another great project here down in Little Beach for National Parks. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that there's days when I've got to pinch myself working in this place. It's quite an amazing backdrop and an amazing office to work in. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the next one, guys. Cheers. So this site in particular in Little Beach for National Parks, there's a lot of cultural heritage attached to this area. And personally, for me, it's the Guringai Wanangini mob who reside on this country. They're the traditional owners of this area. We had areas that we needed to be aware of during construction. We've got known middens in this area, some midden sites. Obviously, they're closer to the coastline, but how far that extends back, I suppose you don't really know until you start excavation in areas. So that was heavily monitored by myself whilst I was on site to ensure that we didn't impact in any way with that. It's rich in cultural heritage. It's also a really culturally sensitive area down here. There's a heavy women's element to this part of the coast. Significant headlands like Murawaring and Budai, Bombi. Most of the headlands in this area are quite sacred. They're known burial sites for ancestors and clever men and women over the years that have passed. But here in particular, at Little Beach, it's like an epicentre for culture. Like I said, there's middens. Just over here in the background, you've got freshwater soaks that pour out of the headland there. So that, in the day, would have been a source of beautiful fresh drinking water. I imagine it's still drinkable today. I'm not going to test it today, but the process that it goes through, filtering through the sandstone, it should still be of a drinkable, potable quality anyway. There's brown ochre pits around on the headland as well. It's an amazing part of the world, and I'm fortunate to live here. I'm also fortunate to call this my workplace. So really, really grateful.